Welcome to Climb a Mountain, an indie author's journey podcast diary. Follow Riley each week as he charts the progress of his indie author business. What are his plans? What will he try next? How are his book sales going? What can you learn from his experience? This is the Climb a Mountain podcast diary, and here is your host, Riley Morrison.
Greetings, everyone. I'm probably happy to say that I finally got Raid Slayer done about 3 or 4 days ago. So I think it took about 8 weeks, something like that, or 7 weeks. I can't even remember now, but it was one hell of an experience, and I'm just so glad it's done and it's off to the proofreader. I'm happy with it. I actually think it's the best litRPG I've ever written so far, and I did learn a lot writing it, and I probably made the game mechanics maybe a bit more complex than I ever thought I would. And yeah, it was a good experience. I learned a lot, and I worked really, really hard on it. I probably worked harder on that book than maybe any of my books I don't know, maybe since Visara Online Book 1 anyway. I did work hard on Heir to a Lost Son and stuff like that, but that was spread over like a 1.5 year period. And I wrote the first draft maybe quicker of that, but yeah, I really feel, Raid Slayer was a hell of a lot of fun, but I did it it was professionally fun, I guess would be the way to describe it. Like, I was having fun, but it wasn't just like fun and games, and there was nothing writing on it. Doing it as part of my business, I want it to do well and all that type of stuff, so I'm just glad I had fun doing it. I hope other writers know what I'm talking about here, but yeah. It was like, the book ended up as 69,000 words long, which, if you listen to my early videos, I was planning on 6,500 word books or something like that, so that's 10 times, whatever, 12 or 13 times bigger than I originally intended, something like that. My maths is pretty bad. So yeah, much longer, but I'm happy with it. It's a full-fledged book now, and people can't complain it's too short. It's probably 220, 230, 250 pages, something like that. So great. Definitely longer than my Fasaria books, and as it's going into KU, I suppose that means I'm going to actually get paid more per borrow of the book and someone reading it through. So yeah, I really hope it helps with my page reads. Like I said, I was going to get back to the Fasaria Online book, which I started really just yesterday. It's definitely been hard to get back into, let me put it that way. I was a bit of an idiot. I didn't keep good notes with the book. I'm hopeless at keeping notes in general, but there's just stuff scattered everywhere. But yeah, but I should have written notes. I should have, as I knew I was going to take a break from it because I was burnt out, I should have wrote down exactly where everyone was at, especially number-wise, because I had to spend like an hour going through numbers and just working out the character leveled up, and I didn't work out the stats for it. I think he got another item, just a whole bunch of stuff that affected all the numbering type stuff, and he got new abilities too, for that matter. And I had to work all that out before I could really even do anything, and then I jumped straight into rewriting a chapter. I think I mentioned I was going to rewrite a chapter on one of my early videos. It was basically a battle scene, a big battle scene. I'm not talking like just a couple of dudes fighting or whatever. I'm talking like an actual full-fledged military battle sort of thing with swords and shield walls and whatever. I've actually found out they're actually pretty damn difficult to write, especially if you're only doing it as a one chapter type thing, like a, say, 3,000 word long chapter. If you've got 10 chapters to go into it, maybe it's a bit easier. But yeah, they're actually pretty damn difficult to write. So jumping straight back into the rewriting of that chapter was maybe silly. I'm having problems with the character voice a bit, as well as I'm calling the main character Zach, which is the main character's name from Raid Slayer, rather than Ajax, which is the main character from Fasaria. So yeah, I pretty much feel like I've jumped back into the deep end sort of thing with that type of thing. But I am getting there. I did get about 2,000 words done yesterday after working out all the numbery stuff, and I had to write down a plan of how I'm just going to restart, basically. So, not overly easy. At least I actually did a revised draft of most of the book so far, so it's not like an unedited mess. So, I mean, that was a good thing, at least, but yeah. And the other issue I'm really having with Visaria is I didn't realise, I did speak about how the Raid Slayer game mechanics are based on the Visaria ones, but silly, I made like more changes than I ever thought I would. Like I didn't realise how much was actually different until I sat down and actually went through it all. Like, I'll just give you an example, and I suppose people that don't write litRPG probably, or don't play games in particular, probably don't know what I'm talking about. But the characters have talent trees. Like, say, a warrior has a tanking class, like the guy that stands up the front with a shield that takes all the damage is a tank. And then you have, say, the warrior DPS tree, which is the guy that has, say, a big two-handed sword and deals out all the damage. In my Raid Slayer book, if you put a talent point in the tanking tree to up your, say, defenses or whatever, you actually get 20 hit points extra. And if you do in the DPS tree, like the two-handed warrior tree or whatever, you get 20 attack power bonus. But in Visaria Online, you don't get any bonuses when you spend talents in different trees. So you still get whatever benefits of the talent you spent, but you don't just get that extra buff. I mean, it's just a tiny detail, and, you know, a lit RPG gamer would know what I'm talking about. It's just, yeah, there's just tiny little details like that that are different. I probably just added them to Raid Slayer without even thinking, because they worked in those books. But now that I'm back to Visaria and I didn't keep detailed notes on how everything worked, because when I was writing it, I sort of knew what I was doing. That's really added a big challenge. I have to work out what the differences are and all that sort of stuff now. So just, I really need to keep better plans, and I should have written like a detailed document on how the game mechanics work in each book. I mean, this is stuff I suppose you don't even necessarily have to even consider much of in non-lit RPG books. But I guess it's different. I mean, lit RPG books also have the things you'd worry about going back to a normal fantasy series, like how everything works, who the characters are, how the magic system works, or whatever. There's just this whole extra layer of complexity onto it. But yeah, my fault. I really need to keep a series Bible. I hope one day if I have fans or something like that, that I can recruit someone else to keep a series Bible. Maybe something like George R.R. Martin has would be awesome, like a wiki. Like that's probably 100, 200,000 words long in itself of just like fans writing stuff about the characters or small details. And I believe he actually, and I know the Elder Scrolls people, Bethesda, often goes back and reads the fan wiki on different lore items and stuff like that, so they even know where they're at themselves, because they even though they're the creators, they've forgotten. So yeah, I can totally understand that now. Like, there's just so many, especially in the Lost Sun books. I mean, they're complex too. Like, and I didn't keep the best notes on them either, so I probably have problems even going back there. Nothing I can do about it now, except in future, just keep better notes. I'm just lazy, like I'm focused on the book. It's just such all that type of stuff is just tedious to me. But now that, you know, stuff is stretched over a period of months or years that you're writing something, I can definitely see the benefit of it. So it's something I'm going to have to force myself to do, I guess. Sales-wise, things are still going pretty well. Still selling 5 or 6 copies. I actually sold a bit more than that this week. I pretty much sold copies every day, I think, this week. And yesterday I sold 2 copies, mostly in Visaria Online. I don't think my other books have sold on Amazon at all, like the non-Visaria ones, in the last month or something, which is sad, but nothing I can do. They're actually selling a bit on Kobo, and I've sold a couple of copies elsewhere through Drafter Digital. I'm actually happy with Kobo now. Someone bought all my Lost Sun books and they actually rated them all, and I got 5 stars on all my books now. I mean, I hope it doesn't look like it's a fake review that I had someone do it or whatever. And it's only a rating, sorry, not a review. But yeah, I'm happy. 5-star reviews. I've obviously got someone that likes my books on Kobo. Fall of the Lost Sun, I think, has 12 reviews now. I think it's at a 3.9 star average. It's got 6 or 7 5 stars, and then I think a few 3 stars, and then I think it's got one star and 1 2-star, something like that. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. I thought I was going to get a whole bunch of 1 or 2 stars or something. I thought maybe the reason the reviews aren't stacking up is because it was a bad book or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't, it seems to be a pretty decent book. Like, if it sticks around 3.94 star average, you can't complain about that. Especially when it's a short book and they're giving it away for free. But maybe I just had unrealistic expectations. I know the ratio of reviews to giveaways on Amazon, like free book giveaways, is about 1,000 reviews to 1,000 giveaways to 1 review or something. So I've given away, I think, about 700 copies of Call of the Lost Sun on Kobo. And I have 12, I'm sure it's 11 or 12 reviews. So, that's pretty good. That's what, a review every 50, something like that. Like I said, I got bad maths on, at least when I'm on the fly. So, yeah, I suppose I can't complain about the lack of ratings, on Fall. Now that it's got some, I guess people just hadn't read the book straight away. They've always got free books there, and I believe the promotions run once a week where you pay, I think it's $12 in your local currency or something, to get on the front page of their free promos. So, I guess people just had a backlog of free books. Overall, I probably prefer Kobo the best of the wide stores. It's such a clean store, and I believe they're one of the only ones that actually seem to even be trying to compete with Amazon in some way. Smashwords has its niche, I suppose, mainly in erotica and stuff, but Kobo it seems to want to actually better itself, I suppose. I'm not complaining that much about the wide stores in general. It's just, you never hear from most of them, really. And, your options of what you can do with them are just so narrow, especially with a lot of them. I suppose I've gone through Draft to Digital, and that narrows what you can do even more. I don't have a Mac device or anything, so I can't just go straight onto the iStore or anything. I am on Google Play, but Google Play is a video in itself, really. Anyone who's on Google Play probably knows what I'm talking about, yeah. Even finding out if you've sold anything is just a difficult experience, or at least I found it difficult compared to the others. Anyway, yeah, that's a video in itself. Now with Raid Slayer done and hopefully back from the proofreader soon, I'm, really excited to release that book. So I really hope I can just rip straight into Visaria and get that out there pretty quickly. Because, I don't just want to sit on Raid Slayer for the next month sort of thing. I think if Visaria Online, I really get bogged down with it, I might just release Raid Slayer at some stage. I really need to still work on how I'm going to launch that book and everything I'm going to do with it. I just don't want to sit on it too long. I do know rapid release, like if I wrote Raid Slayer Book 2 and even Book 3 would be optimal, but if I did that and still wrote, got Visaria out of the way, it's literally going to be December or something before I release them. And that might be awesome, but who knows how long, say, litRPG Hero will be hot for, or if I could even finish it all this year. I have no idea what's going to happen. And it has been about 2.5 months or something ridiculous like that since I've released anything. So I feel like I need to get content out there. I loved writing Raid Slayer and all that sort of stuff, and I'm excited, I guess, to share it with the world sort of thing. And obviously I really hope it does well and it pays for all the money I've spent investing in my author business. It'd be great to, just how awesome would it be to actually be in profit for your business within the first year of releasing books? Most of the money I've spent was obviously pre-launch, on editing Ed or Lost Sun. If I didn't spend so much on that, and Dawn of the Lost Sun to some extent, I'd be in a much better position. As is, I probably paid in revenues, got about 1/3 of the cost of my books back. Something like that. In the future, I'm planning on doing a 1-year sort of look over my author business. November 15th will be 1 year since I started releasing, so I'd like to do a video on what I've achieved in that 1 year at some stage, so that'll be coming in the future. So over the next week, I'm going to try to get as much of Visaria Online done as I can. I'm also thinking of purchasing Vellum, which is an ebook formatting and print book formatting tool, that it's only Mac only though. So as I don't have a Mac, I'm going to use a special program. It might be web-based, browser-based, I'm not sure. That basically allows you to run a Mac virtual server on a PC, and you can use Vellum that way. I purchased the Paul Teague's course on how to get the Mac iCloud working and Vellum and all that type of stuff. It was only like $18, something like that. And I figured, I'll just watch his videos on it, do his course, and it'd save me hours of trying to work it all out myself. So I just did that to save time, really. And yeah, I want to get a professional looking book. Up to this point, I've used the free draft to digital thing, but it's just limited in what you can do, and it's just generic in some ways, I suppose. And like when I did it with my Thesaria books, it sort of crammed everything in. So I want the Raid Slayer books to look really nice and professional, and I might even go back and redo the Thesaria Online books and reformat them. I mean, maybe one day when I re-release The Lost Sun, I'll do them as well. But yeah, Vellum makes really nice ebook covers. Not ebook formatting. So yeah, it's an investment. I believe it's over something like $350 for the print version, which is going to be like nearly $450 here. I think that's what it is. Don't quote me on the price there. But yeah, so it's definitely an investment. But I think that in the end, you make better looking books, and I hope that will, convert to sales. Well, I think that about covers everything. It's going to be a busy week ahead of me, and I want to rip right into Thesaria and get it out there as soon as possible to capitalize on Raid Slayer if it does well, like I really hope it does. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Riley's Indie Author Journey podcast. Please subscribe and share the podcast with your author friends. Have a good author week writing and selling your books. Until next time, take care.